Good morning. Oh, forgot my iPad. That's okay. Make do. Find myself. There we go. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm just going to grab one thing real quick. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Carol. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to share with you the cards that we did. I think I have all of them. Last month for our card club. Sounds a little weird the way I'm saying it. For our monthly card kit. So basically, I've been having my classes to go. And what we do is I will tell you the stamp set or stamp sets that you would need. Of course, I can't find one of them. And then I make 4 card designs. I do 4 videos. And and then I cut up all the stuff and send it out to you guys. Now, this is going to be the 3rd month that I've done it. So I figured, and of course I can't find one of the cards, but I figured I would share the cards with you today so maybe you could see. Now, this would be only something you could participate with if you were in the United States with mailing, because shipping costs out of the country, and also I'm not allowed to sell out of the country anyway, but shipping costs out of the country would be really expensive. So, here it is. So I'm going to show you the cards that we made, and that way you'll get an idea of what it is. So basically what you do is if you purchase a certain amount of money, you get the card kit for free. There is a deadline that you have to purchase it by. And you don't have to necessarily purchase what I'm doing it with, but you might not be able to finish the cards exactly the same. And then there also is an option to buy just the PDF and the videos, and that is available anywhere in the world because it's just a email that I'll send you. But I'm going to share the cards with you. So these were the cards that were for the month of May, and we did a kind of Father's Day mail theme. So there's only one actual Father's Day card, just like the month before we only did one Mother's Day card. So anyway, so these are the 4 cards, and I'm going to take them out of the wrapper because they were interactive, so that's kind of fun. I'm very excited. I did wash my hair yesterday. Rainbow Stamper and I went swimming. We had a little celebration for his kindergarten last day. But I washed and dried my hair last night. But guess what? I'm getting my roots done today. Woohoo! So, we'll see. You might not recognize me the next time I go live. Okay, so anyway, here is one of the cards. And so this one featured the By the Docks stamp set and dies. So you can see this was cut out, and the boat and the oars are cut out, so it's very interactive. Now this one I didn't finish the inside, but I did give them some suggestions on the video. So you get a full video that goes with each card, so this is a fun fold card. So a full video that goes with each card, and I made 2. That one I can't find the second one of, but I did make 2 because I made them ahead of time. The other one, this was actually an idea I got from France Martin, Frenchy Stamps, and I kind of just went up a notch. So this is my one that I did that was a little bit prettier. So it's supposed to look like a Polaroid. This one, I goofed it up because I didn't mask off, and I explained this when I did my video. So again, I still make mistakes even when I'm prepping card classes, so you don't have to. And I added this little embellishment. What is this called? These are the antique corners and element or slide elements. So I thought this was a really cool card, and she actually did hers 3 different ways. She did one as a black and white picture, she did one as a sepia, and then she actually even did one in full color. So I just changed it up to be a happy birthday card. So this could be for anybody or any guy, really. So that was the second one. And again, you can change all of the sentiments. So the one that's a here for you card, you could absolutely make a happy birthday card. So you don't necessarily have to make them. Again, there was only one that was Father's Day, and that was this one. I'll show you that. But this one was super simple too. This used the DSP, the Golf DSP, and then just one stamp on top. Very easy card to do. And then this one you can see has a little bit different pattern with the papers. I just used leftover pieces. Some of them have a little bit of the embossing because they are the ores that emboss, but very simple card. Basically, you could do that with anyone. Actually, as a matter of fact, I got this idea because I did this with Valentine's, with the oars, kind of like an out of the box. I used the Valentine's paper. If you guys remember, I'm pretty sure I shared that. And then the final card, so there were 2 fun fold cards. This is the second one. This is a flap, open flap card. And then you have a lot of DSP on this one. So I also shared a couple different ways where you could color. I shared how you could do it with the blends, or if you didn't have the blend. So it is very detailed what I do with the videos, but the videos are pre-recorded, so it's not really necessarily as interactive. However, I do also tell you many different ways to do it. So maybe if you have the blends, you could color this in this way. If you don't have the blends, you could do blah, 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 and I explain it. So if that's something you're interested in, I am going to be, and here's the other one. It just, the first version I did was just plaid. And then, oops, ripped my paper there. And then it had the same DSP on the inside. So those were just 2 different plaids, but nice way. I mean, even for Father's Day now, that you could use up, if you see this, you could use up your DSP, make a bunch of Father's Day cards. So make it pretty simple. And then the other thing that's fun is, I think next month, I'm not decided on my stamp set yet. I have 2 choices in mind, but I think next month is going to just be like a regular birthday theme. So it could be for anybody. I'm going to try to make cards for anybody. Let's put it that way. So I did Mother's Day and Father's Day. So I think I'm going to shoot for either happy birthday cards, or I'm not sure what the other one is. Maybe just like summer fun cards, like cards you could send to anybody to cheer them up. Hi, Gigi. Hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're taking care up there. So I'm going to tell you, I have absolutely no plan today. So I have several stamp sets out. Today is really exceptionally rainy here in Maryland. It was so hot yesterday. We had massive thunderstorms, which I think all the Ohio people had the day before yesterday as well, because we get their weather like a day later. So we have like really terrible weather, and just, I don't know, I'm having a day today where things are just, so I couldn't think of any ideas specifically, but I have so many new stamp sets. So what we'll do is I will share them with you. You guys can pick, and we'll figure out what it is we're going to make. A couple things that I thought would be fun, because I know I had talked about this before. I did get the Queen Anne's lace. So that one's a fun one. We also have, which would be a little bit more involved, because you may, if you wanted to make this a shaker card, you would need the domes. And those did carry over from the holiday catalog. I'm glad I kept them. I do have the Christmas stamp set as well, but they are these snow globe domes, and I believe you get 10. Yes, you get 10 in a package, and when you pull them out, you get a whole bunch of them stuck together. But they have sticky on both sides, so you can make a little shaker element, which will be super fun for the zoo globe. So that could go with that, or with the snow globe stamp set that will be returning again in the holiday catalog. I'm also finishing up my paper and ribbon shares. I have one more to package, and then I'll send out my local ones as well. So if you missed it, because I did cut off, I'm still waiting for 2 ribbons on back order. So in case you are a person who did do the ribbon share, there'll be 2 ribbons that will be coming later. And I did note that in the email and also in the card that I sent with it. But I am going to do another share. It probably will be in the month of August, because that is when, no, we can pre-order in July. I'll do it in probably at the very end of July. I'll start collecting, but that will be for the holiday catalog. So we should have new DSPs for hopefully fall, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas pixie dust in the shaker. That would be amazing. Can we pixie dust in that, Angie? That would be super fun. Angie is a pixie duster for a living. For now, anyway. So I also have, if we want to do something a little bit more beachy, we have Sending Sunshine and Seaside View. I love both of these. I think they're really, really pretty. I also have Rainbow Stamper. I'm going to save this one for him. He's going to, I'm sure, make a card with Moving Along because it has a train, and he insisted that I order this one for him. I also have Summer Days, which is a beautiful stamp set. I got Whiskey Business, which is great, especially for all the parents during quarantine, right? A zoo birthday party invitation. Oh, that would be really cute. That is a great idea, Brene. I also have Game On because I couldn't resist this. And I was thinking about something last night. I really need to take notes because I was thinking of somebody that I could send this to. And I can't remember what it was. But this is also would be a great one to have for St. Patrick's Day. So this is in the annual catalog. You could use the Lucky Me, and you could do Lucky and then just block out the rest of it, and you could do Lucky You. So you could make this into a St. Patrick's Day card. I also got Palette Thoughts. And one other thing I want to show you, speaking of shaker cards, if you didn't see my post the other day, I did a shaker card. Let me get the elements to the top. For Kylie's demonstrator challenge. So here's my only thing I should have done, which I was not thinking when I did this. I should have stamped something on that white part in the background because it's kind of naked. So I made this the other day with the little birds. So that's another stamp set I have. The birds and branches. This is a stamp and a die set. And what else? We used Beautiful World last week, so I don't want to do that one again. I've done, I think, a good amount of stuff with Tasteful Touches. And we also still have the whale bundle. I've seen tons of stuff with the whales. So we have the whale bundle and the whale paper. So I'm going to put Tasteful Touches and then the globe stamp set bundle away because we did one with that already. And what else? Oh, and guess what else? I had to order because, you know, I just didn't have enough and I had to get more. Just had to. I did order the Forever Fern bundle. Just couldn't help myself. So I got that the other day. I'm pretty sure I got the dies too. Yeah, there they are. I haven't even opened what I got, and I had to order more stuff. I mean, what is wrong? Something is wrong with me. I love the whale set. I do too. I've seen a lot of really, really, really cool cards. So the Forever Fern, first of all, that paper is amazingly beautiful. And then it also has a stamp set and then coordinating dies. So that's really pretty. And what else did I get? These I think went with it. Oh no, these are the In Good Taste elements. Is that with the fern? I can't remember. I have so much stuff going on right now. I have my book, at least I can check my book. But so we could do a whale shaker card. Summer Lane or birds. All right, so I'm going back and reading now. So let's see what y'all say. I see birds. You got the hand-drawn bundle. I must not have gotten that one. Love the whale. Thank you for voting, Amy. I appreciate that. The birds. Oh, thank you, Pam. Thank you for your vote. I appreciate it. There's a stamp. It's still seeing snow globe as well. Ooh, I'm going to have to look at that real quick. Hold on. Let me pause here. Let me scroll and look. 58. Yes, Still Scenes. That's the one that I originally went with. That was luckily a carryover from the holiday catalog. So it is still there. We don't even have to wait till the holiday catalog. It came back. And I think I'm stepping on a rhinestone. Yep. Oh my gosh. Between the amount of rhinestones and glue dots that end up in the carpet below here. All right, look, I see Seaside Whiskey Whale. That would be a good song. Seaside Whiskey Whale. Summer whale. All right, I see a lot of whales. So how about today? Where do you go to vote? Okay, so if you go to my blog, which is rachthestamper.com, there is a Kylie's International, it's a competition. And if you click on that, there's a button that will show up in the middle. You click and then find my picture. My picture's number 40. Okay, so whale shaker. Hi, Glenda. How are you? All right, so we're going to do the whale shaker. And I am going to do my best. I still have to pull the winner for the pool party ribbon. I did not do that. I will do that when I go downstairs later today. And let me move that. I have this. Have the whale paper, which is adorable. So let me move all things whale. The whale also has some sequins that you can use, so we could do that. I'm going to put this pool party ribbon on the side, so I remember to pick somebody for that later. And make sure you leave a comment. I'm going to pick some winners because I have a lot of random stuff that I need to start mailing out. So I'm going to pick 5 people from today's video to send something to. I don't exactly know what. Some of it might be retired. Some of it might be new. But we have lots of stuff to share. So let me move this over. Oh, that other pile I made just fell over. Now, has anybody used the Stampin' Seal yet? I haven't used it at all. So I'm going to try that today. But I also think I'm going to, so let me see, I need window sheet. Let me just grab a couple of these things before I flip you down. I'm going to need some window sheet. Here's some. And, oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you. So, and I have these pieces kind of cut up. Okay. So when you get the foam adhesive sheets, okay? This is it. And you will see, I thought they were the same. They're not. It's a little bit bigger than the dimensionals, the large dimensionals, okay? I feel like it is. I'm going to measure it so you know, because I just ordered it. I thought it would be a bigger sheet, and it's not, but that's okay. It's my own fault for not reading. It's about 4 and 4 and almost 3/8. It's 4.5 by 4 3/8. So these are the foam adhesive sheets, which are sticky on both sides. So I actually use this. I did not get the peony. The peony. I guess it depends on where you are and how you say it. I didn't get it yet, but I should. I didn't get any of that yet, but it is very pretty. So these are really good for using for foam strips, and that is what I did for this shaker card. So I'm going to show you what I did. So I've been kind of cutting this up into pieces, and I have some pieces. You know, doesn't everybody keep all their supplies on the floor? I know I'm not the only person. I have some pieces left over. So I'll show you what I did for that. I have a window sheet. Okay, so I think I have everything. So very carefully, put this out of the way. And it's raining again. We've been getting some power flickers, so I'm going to pray we don't lose power. I'm going to flip you guys around. You tried to order Playful Pets. It was sold out. There's a lot of stuff that is sold out. But remember, here's one thing. And I know this is incredibly frustrating as a demonstrator or as a customer. At least we have 11 months. So a lot of things are delayed because of COVID, because of people making other supplies instead of Stampin' Up supplies, which I know sounds crazy, but, you know, we do need health supplies. And so some things are delayed, but we still have plenty of time. But I really can understand how frustrating it is that something sells out. However, we will also have another catalog beginning soon because the holiday catalog will be coming. So I think probably some of the things will back off and hopefully some stuff will come back in stock. So hang in there. I understand just how you feel, because when you want to get something and you're like, what do you mean this is already sold out? I cannot believe it. Okay, so I know a lot of people I think are waiting to place an order next month, because some people also, with depending on where you are in your demonstratorship, if you are just doing it because you want to get a discount, or if you're doing it because you want to sell stuff, or if you're doing it just because you like making things and whoever. But anyway, one other thing, I'm going to flip you around and I'm going to talk while I flip, so you don't have to look if this makes you nauseated. I'll flip you over. There is an amazing special right now if you would like to join my team as a rainbow stamper. Okay, we are situated. So I think because of the delay, you should be okay right now. If you purchase the bundle, you get $125 worth of anything for $99, but you also get to pick one extra bundle for free. So you could get this bundle for free, or you could get this bundle, so it's stamps and dies, or stamps and a punch. So you get to pick one extra bundle for free. So that's pretty awesome. That runs through June 30th. So I thought I would just share that with you guys. Okay, so for the whale is a photopolymer stamp set. And I usually don't ever use that second one after I peel it off. But really, really cute. Whale done. The only thing with this one is you do have a punch for the whale, but not for anybody else. So anybody else you want to add on there, we're going to just fussy cut, but I think it gives you lots of potential on what to do. And then you do also have the little splash up and a couple other little C parts there. Also comes with a great embossing folder. It's really, really pretty. So maybe we'll emboss the top. So we're going to kind of follow a similar line to this. This one I actually did even do shimmer spray on. And originally I had different birds. I think I put them away, but they didn't really go with the color scheme, so I kind of changed around. So you have this really pretty embossing folder. This is actually a 3D. Yeah, it is. It's a 3D folder. And then I actually, because I got the whole suite, I accidentally ordered an entire extra pack of paper. So I'll show you this paper. This is really, really... This would be great for scrapbooking if it was 12 by 12, because I can't even imagine the amount of stuff that you'd be able to do with it. But super pretty, lots of stuff. But you have a lot of these kind of full sea background patterns, so maybe we'll use one of these for our card. And then we have swarm of fish. I have this cute seaweed. And this would be a great, this one would be nice too. I'll have to keep that one out. For shaker, you have your whole little... This reminds me of Dory. Cute coral color. It's got a lot of really nice colors too. You have your whales all over. And then underwater, this would be a nice background as well. Jellyfish, and I love that they're rainbow jellies. And then some seaweed, seahorses, and waves. I like this one too because it's a little bit lighter. This would even be a great background. So we're going to have to decide. Because I think I'm going to make it simple instead of stamping some stuff. Oh, look at the sea turtles. Aren't they adorable? That's really cute. And I like the colors too. There's a lot of color choices. Crabs. Here's the only thing about this is when crabs are in the water, they're still blue. So whoever was doing this, I don't know if they were doing it for just the fun of it because it was whimsical, but only steamed crabs are red. Crabs are normally blue. Same with lobster. They're not red until they're steamed, but there's a beautiful coral background. But this one will be cute too. You have your another set of whales. And this one is a nice one too because it could kind of go either direction. I'll have to, this is going to be tough. Then we have our little chain. This kind of reminds me too of the Eastern Australian current from Finding Nemo and Dory. You know I'm a Disney fan. There's some more steamed crabs with the whales. And then this one is really pretty. So we have a tough choice because there's a lot of really fun ones there. So let us see. Maybe we can do something. These would be great too if you wanted to do kind of a scene in your card. I think I'm gonna do one with the. I'm gonna do one with the fish in the background. And we'll try and make two. Let's see if we can make two. And this one. We'll use these two. Okay, so what we're going to do is these are going to be the parts that go underneath in the background. So this will kind of have to be up a little bit higher. And again, you can cut out any kind of circle you want. I actually did this with the dies that went with the birds. So I thought it made for a fun shaker. If you're going to do it with a circle or a square, you can do that as well. You could even do a rectangle would be kind of neat. So let me grab a couple dies. Circles. Oh, even these. This would be kind of cool because it could almost look like an aquarium. So you could even do that. Let's see. Let me look at my rectangles. We can do one of these. All right. So I have all these guys over. And just as an FYI, in case you are looking for this, Wheel of a Time, you can find it on page 94 and 95. You can buy a whole suite. You can buy just things by themselves. If you do get the punch and the stamp, you can get them at a 10% discount right here. So just as a FYI, there's lots of examples for this. Okay, so what we'll do is, and the other thing, I wanted to show you this, just in case you didn't know. When you look at your package of DSP, so if you did participate in the paper share, I always add this, but it tells you all of the colors that coordinate. Now, I'm sure there's lots of other little colors, but it tells you all the colors that coordinate. So I think that's really very helpful as well. So you could do Pool Party, Balmy Blue, Pretty Peacock, which I think would look really nice with this because it would kind of pick up that color there. Also, I think the only one that's new in here is Bumblebee. Oh, Just Jade. We could do that one too, because that's a really pretty color. I think that would look really nice with this. But we also might want to make it pop with a little bit of maybe Pacific Point. So we're going to kind of have to play around. We could even go with coral, but always check this. And if this is too small to see, it does also list it on the website, which it's a little bit bigger. And it also lists it in the catalog. So just as a FYI, could always go too with, ooh, even says Blackberry Bliss. That will really be pretty, but it might be a little bit dark. I think I'm going to go Pacific Point on this one. So we'll kind of make this, yeah, we'll do that for this one because it's, yeah, see how pretty that looks together? That's really nice. I almost want to say, like, I don't know, the peacock might look pretty with this. Just with the contrast. I think I'm going to do peacock. So, you know, when we're setting all this stuff up, it does take a little bit of time, only because I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. But once we're doing it, all these cards will be pretty simple. Pretty simple to make, recreate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut both of these down. And we're going to decide, I think I'm going to do the rectangle for this piece, and maybe this one we're going to do as a crosswise card. That way we get a little bit more space in there. And then this one we'll do with, just to do something different. These are the nested. Kind of look a little bit cool. Let's see, that one might be too big. So I'm going to pull out two of these and we'll see which one. So both of these, I think we're going to do these as horizontal facing cards. So it'll be lengthwise, but we're going to do it across this direction. So let me grab my trimmer. So what I'm going to do is score both of these at 5.5 on the long side. So on the 11-inch side, we're going to score them at 5.5. And then I'm going to cut this at 4.25. Okay, so there's going to be one. And again, this is going to be our base. We're still going to have to put something on top of it, so we might need to pick another color additionally anyway. And this one, I'll do the same way. I'm going to score this one at 5.5. By the way, I got my Color Street nails from Gail. And if you are interested in those, I'm sure she can send you to her Color Street page. I think they were pretty easy to put on, considering. I thought they were anyway. Now what I'm going to do is, but of course I can't just pick one. So this is 3 different packs because, you know, I can't leave well enough alone. So I'm going to cut a piece of this, and it probably does not need to be this big, but you could cut it to 4 by 5.25. I'm just going to cut it to 3 by 4. So let's see if I want that to be 4. I'm going to cut this at the 4. Let's see. Because I'm going to put it, let's actually get this out and do this sensibly so I don't goof it up. So we'll use this smaller one because this will be enough. So we really don't need all of this piece. So I'm going to be kind of eyeballing, what does this measure? It's probably about 2.5, 2.75. I'm going to do 3. See if that fits in there. Yeah, so I'll put this here, and then when we cut our hole, we will just center it with this portion a little bit bigger. Okay, so one thing about doing shaker cards, and this is where it's kind of personal preference depending on what it is you want to do. Because when I put this card together, for example, what I did is I put the stuff in upside down on the foam piece, and then I laid my top on top of it, which sometimes can make things be a little bit uneven. Now you can also put your pile of whatever you want shaking, you can set it in there and then set it on top very gently. So I'll do that this time to see if that helps anybody to be able to maybe put it together a little bit easier. So I think just for some contrast for this one, I'm going to do Bumblebee. And hopefully it'll look nice. We'll see. I'm going to cut this just so it has a little bit of a border. So I'm going to cut this one to 5 1/4 by 4. So this is the Bumblebee color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut the shaker portion out of this. Okay, so there's that. So let me see if I can find the other color I want to use here. And this one I said I wanted to do a rectangle. That way, when we're finished, we'll just kind of do the assembling. So if we do this one a little bit bigger, if we use this larger, I just had these taped together because I was doing a frame. But if we do this with the larger window, we actually will have more of the scene showing. So I think I'm going to do that. So when I cut this, it's going to be a little bit strange the way I cut it, because this one, since it's a larger piece, I am going to make this a full piece here. So let's see, if we were to do this, this will be 4, and then 5 1/4 will be the other way. So I'm actually going to trim this. I'm going to take 1 inch off the top and 1 inch off the bottom, and then we'll just save this for something else. So I'm trimming this down to 4. That way we have enough of the water and the undersea. Oops. Okay, and then I'll trim this down to 5. I'm just going to pick a side and take it off. So this is going to lay here. That way we'll have plenty of whatever it is showing when we cut our layer for the top. Probably could even go bigger on that, but we'll just do this for now. Now for this one, this might be nice with a bright, wonder what Calypso Coral will look like. Let me pull a piece of that out. Oh, that's not it. Actually, this kind of looks nice though. This is some terracotta tile. I almost wonder if that's too dark. Let me just take a peek and see which one looks a little bit nicer. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the Calypso Coral because the terracotta is almost just a little bit too dark. I'm going to grab a piece of that. Whoops. To open up a new pack. Oh, look at that. See, Kathy is my virtual assistant. She's always helping everybody with whatever it is that they are looking for on here. Thank you, Kathy. That's so nice of you. Yeah, I did only use 1 strip. So 1 strip here, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So I didn't really use very much of them at all, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to cut this down so we have, again, just enough room to wiggle with the frame. So I'm going to cut this down. So we would normally do 4 1/4. I'm going to do 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. We can always trim it down if we need to, but that way at least we'll lay over top of this, because you do want it to be bigger than your piece. Just like that. So we'll do that, and then we're going to cut it out of this. Okay, so let me move this. So probably the hardest part of this whole thing is going to be deciding whether or not you've cut this and it is square, because that tends to happen to me, that whatever I do doesn't end up being square. You could certainly pull out a T-square if you really wanted to be super precise and anal about it, but I kind of usually just pick a spot and wing it. which is what I will do today. I am going to put some tape down though. So I'm going to just cut that one, and I'm going to cut both of these at the same time. And I'm going to try to kind of stay centered. I'm going to use this kind of as my eyeballing part, just to see if that looks about right where I want it centered wise, and then kind of just make sure it looks remotely straight, which is hard to do when you're kind of behind the camera, step back. So forgive me if it's not exactly straight. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to cut both of these out. So for these, now one thing, I am going to put these both on the same thing to cut them just to be a little bit quicker. But you want to remember, for you when you're doing this, you don't necessarily want these to go through straight on with your rollers in your die cutting machine. So I'm going to kind of try to put them just a little bit tilted. And I do have them on my magnetic platform. There we go. So I'm going to kind of line them up like that-ish. I'm just going to put this on top. I'm going to run these through. Okay. And now we're going to pull this off. So you can save your shapes and use them for something else for a card. You could always stamp a greeting on a smaller die cut and layer it together. So I usually save those for something else. I'll put this on the side in case I have to do something over. And then the same with the rectangle. Now for this one, what you could do, because the inside panel is going to be so dark, we could actually use this for the inside and then stamp something and decorate it and cut it. So we'll keep that one hanging on as well. All right, so we're going to work on this one first. Okay, so that's going to be this. And let's see what this looks like, if this is going to be large enough. That should be pretty good, I think. So you do also have a side that looks nicer when you look at your stitching. You have one that has the line that goes around and the dots, and then the other one kind of looks a little bit rough. So make sure you use the correct side, okay? One other thing I need that I should have grabbed ahead of time, but I might have a piece cut already, is my window sheet. So we do sell window sheet. It comes in a 12 by 12 piece. And in case you've never seen it before, it's item 142314. So you have these 12 by 12 window sheets. So this one is a little big. Let me see. I have so many little scrappy pieces that there's probably something in here. Yep, we'll use that one. And then this one's a little bit bigger, so we might actually need this bigger one. Yeah, and I'll trim this down. Now, you can trim this down with your Stampin' Up trimmer. You can trim it down with scissors if you want. I'm going to just kind of eyeball this one and put it on. So I'm going to just nip this one with my scissors real quick, because you want it to make sure that it covers the entire hole. So there's one for that. This one, I think I might be a little bit more careful with, and I'm going to actually get my trimmer back out for this one, just because I don't want to goof anything up. So I'm going to take this one down. What did we say this measured? Like 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So I'll do this 4 by 5 will be good. So I'm just going to trim this down. Okay. So this little piece, look, this is just a little piece where you probably would throw away, but if you ever want to make a card where you have a little something sticking up, you could use this and you could punch like a whale. So for example, if you put a whale on the front and the back, and then it could be like a little fidgety piece. So these little pieces are good to keep, and you don't even need that whole piece. You could cut that in half and you could have 2 little pop-up things. So maybe I'll have to do a card where we share how to use the leftovers to make a second card from. That's what I should do. I did make a lot of leftover cards recently. So I'm going to use tear and tape because I really want this to stick. So I'm just going to put, hopefully I picked the right side. Yes, I'm going to put some tear and tape here. Wow, I have 123 people watching. That's awesome. Thank you guys all for joining me today. I am kind of keeping this close to the hole, or the opening, I should say, only because I want to make sure that I didn't, this one I know I cut bigger, But when I do this one, for example, I don't want to overestimate where I put it, so I'll put it very close. I'm just going to press this down. Okay, and I think this one we chose for that. So I'm going to do this one. Put that over here. So same thing again, I am going to put this on all the sides just because you really want it to stay. Oops. A little crazy there. Okay. So I really kind of give this a nice press down. That way it's easier to get those little tabs off. So you can pull this off, but if you do have trouble with it, the other thing you can do is you could use, and I do this a lot of times, use the spatula end. I think that's probably the most popular thing I use this for, is pulling off the tape. I don't know if that's what the intention was for it, but I think is really great for pulling the backing off of stuff. All right, so here's one. So this is our smaller piece, okay? So what we're going to do is make sure we don't have any goobers of glue on here, and I'm going to put this down just like so and really press it. Okay, so there might be some sticky stuff, and that's okay because it's not going to really make too much of a difference. So I'm going to set this here for now. Now we're going to do this one, and that way we can decide what it is we're going to put down. So I didn't press these good. And this tearing tape looks a little bit different because this is from, I think, a paper pumpkin kit I got. So I'm just using the rest of my roll. Now, one other thing, if you're ever doing something and adding a window sheet to it, and this kind of goes with anything from dimensionals to tearing tape, if you're ever worried that you're not going to center it correctly, you can always go in and add a little bit of liquid glue on top of it because it gives you the wiggle room and then it'll be double sturdy. So just kind of keep that in mind. Looks pretty good. Okay, so same thing. So I'm really pressing it to close that up. All right, so then we have our 2 window sheets. Now, one other thing, and I know we got rid of this, so hopefully everybody has some sort of an embossing buddy, but when you are doing shaker cards, if you hit the window sheet with some anti-static powder tool of some sort, it cuts down on the static that would make whatever it is that you add stick to it instead of shaking. So if you have an embossing buddy, you could use that. If not, you could use something else. I'm not really quite sure what else, but maybe they'll bring that back. I don't know why we got rid of it. However, that's another story for another time. Let me close this up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is move on to our window foam. So this is the new foam. So as you can see, you can put this down in pretty much any place. Now this is obviously a little bit too thick for right here, but you don't want, I should say this, you want enough foam that's going to hold it up, but you don't really want to be able to see it. But you want to make sure that wherever you put this, it's going to close the gap because you don't want it falling out of your card, okay? So I have some pieces here that are a little bit smaller. Now what I did before with this, and also if you don't have this, you could use foam strips, you could use dimensionals, but you have to remember one thing. Foam strips and dimensionals, and I'm assuming these are probably the same. Actually, nope, these are a little bit higher. They are not all the same height. So if you go with dimensionals, stick with dimensionals. If you go with this foam sheet, stick with the foam sheet. If you go with foam strips, you cannot interchange them because your paper will look all wonky. So I'm going to cut off just a couple pieces. It does cut pretty simply. And I'm going to make sure that I took the backing off. And just to give it a lot of room to shake, I'm going to kind of put it out a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to cut a piece from over here. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So we'll pull that here. Putting this over there. And then, this one's a little bit too big still. So we'll go with, I'm going to try kind of eyeball about the same. Put this. Okay, so you can see how this spot is a little bit big, but I'm trying to be very ginger when I cut it because I don't want to make it too short that stuff is going to leak out. So that looks pretty good. And this one, I'm just going to make sure that it goes all the way to the end so you can't see it from the other side, okay? That's probably the most important thing. Okay. And let's see. Might be able to piece a couple of these in here. Yep, that'll work. So these are a couple pieces I had from the other day. So I'm just going to put this kind of close to the edge. Again, I don't want it to go off of the back so you can see it, but that's pretty good right there. Peel this off. So this little tiny sliver here, you probably don't have to worry about, but just in case. Okay, so here's where we come to the next step where it is something you have to decide. You might do it one way and think, ooh, that's a pain. I am not doing it that way anymore. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to fill this with whatever little gemmy things that you want to put in and then flip it, right? But if you flip it, it's going to be everywhere. So what you're going to do is you're going to have to make a choice. If you want to fill this and then turn this over, or what you can do, and I'm going to do it this way so you can see, I'm actually going to put this on with liquid glue. That way I can move it if I need to, okay? So I'm going to I have my opening in the right direction. So I'm going to set this down super lightly. I'm not pressing it at all. I'm going to make sure if this is centered, is it covering it? It is. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to press that in place. And now, first off, I do want to add something to the front of this so it's a little bit decorative. So we might, I know at this point, if we stamp it, it might be a little wonky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some delicate stamping first. I say delicate, isn't that hilarious? So we will add, and I'm just going to keep this in the same colors, just because we'll kind of go with tone on tone. So there's a coral. So I'm going to grab my Bumblebee ink. I think this is the first time I have used this ink. Sad, isn't it? I've had it for this long and I haven't used it. And I'm going to just kind of stamp just a couple corals. Now, if you're going to have your little gap down here, you can see it might not stamp as well. So this would be where, if you did it, you would want to stamp it before you do this, okay? So I will cover this up with something, but let me wipe this one off. Okay, so when you do it, remember to decorate your front before you put your foam on. Might as well, because we have a couple little fish up here, we'll just put these. These should be big enough, let's see. That's cute. We'll do a couple swimming away. There you go. So you could add any other decorative parts you want to do to this. I will add some sort of a sentiment, but I think I'm going to stamp it, and then we'll add that afterwards. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want this. Okay, where I think I like it. Looks pretty good, right? So I'm going to grab my little sequins, and I'm going to just do this one more time. Woo, just because I did it a minute ago, and to me that means that there could be static. So I'm just going to touch this just gently. Okay, then I'm going to take my sequins. Now, one thing about a shaker card, you might think that more is better, but a lot of times more means that it won't move, okay? So I'm going to just take like a good pinch, put them in the center, maybe like another little pinch. Now, and the reason I only took that many is because of this. I'm going to show you something else that you can add that you probably have laying around, and it's free. And I know I've shared this before, but you ever get these little packs that come in your purse and your shoes and every other thing that you order? So these are usually, hopefully these are a teeny bit yellowed, but they're usually clear. Now the ones that are not clear, if they're gray, throw them away because they don't do anything good. But I'm going to show you what you can do. You can take, hopefully I have an empty container here somewhere. Nope. Okay, here's one that I already did. So I'm going to show you what I did, and then we'll add this. So you can add ink to these. So I'm going to take this just for a moment, and I'm going to dump these in here just to get them out of the way. We can keep a couple of these in because they're kind of neat, like a sea green. So I'm going to take the ones that have no color. I just got these out of that little bag. And what you can do is, let's pick, we'll do Seaside Spray. So we're going to take our Seaside Spray ink refill. We'll put a dot. Just one is all you need. And then put the lid on and you shake them. Now, one thing for these, you want to do this ahead of time because you want to give them a little bit of time to dry. But regardless, whatever color you do, they will pick up the color, and then they're kind of colored that you can use them with your project. So, and they're free. So I'm going to take these just for the sake of not making a huge mess. And I'm going to dump them out on my little microfiber towel here, just to let them dry off a little bit. Now, normally I wouldn't do this. I would just let them sit. I'll pick a few of these off. One thing with these, because they are a little teeny bit wet, they might not stick as well as I want them to. So let me do one other thing real quick. This was impromptu. I was not planning on doing this, or else I would have done these ahead of time for you. Put these back in here. And you could do these ahead of time and have ones that are like different shades of pink. You could have like sea colored ones. You could have pink ones, yellow ones, ones that are like the color of flowers. So I'm just going to put these back in. And then I'm going to take a couple of the green ones and just add them to the pile here. Oops, now you can see one thing with these. These do roll as opposed to the sequins. So I kind of tend to dump them in the center. All right, so there is that. Close this up. Put this on the side. But you could do this with anything. So once whatever your container is, these were the sail away trinkets, just put a refill in there, shake them around, and let them dry. Now I'm going to peel the back off of my foam sheets. Whoops. And just to make myself feel a little bit better, I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on this. That way when I set it down, I'll have a little bit of wiggle room. So if you put a little bit of liquid glue on top, it kind of gives you the movability of the liquid glue, but then you'll have a super duper sturdy place, or base, I should say, once it's all glued together. So I'm trying not to move this too much. So I'm going to make sure this looks, for the most part, pretty centered. Again, I kind of hovering, so I can't really tell exactly. I'm going to set this down and just press all the way around to make sure it's sealed. And then look at that shaker card shake. Now, once again, that's probably because those two are wet. Once they dry out a little bit, they'll be better. And I might have put a larger glom of these on top of each other. One thing I could have done, though, so you can see they do shake really well, is added some extra little things in here, which I totally forgot about. So I'm going to stamp a sea turtle, and we'll do him in just jade, just for fun. Actually, I'm going to stamp him off once so you can see him a little bit better. And I want to add a sentiment. Thanks a ton. That's cute. We'll do that one. So I'm going to do this in, and I know I'm seeing already, just thinking about what time it is. Yep. Getting a little extra on my time today, but that's okay. Hopefully you guys are able to stick around. I'm going to do just a regular black sentiment. That not turn out now the way I wanted it to? Hold on. Grab another scrap of paper here. Okay. So there's that. Shaker cards, though, I guess when you think about it assembly-wise, they do take a little bit longer to assemble just because there's a lot of components to it. So I'm just going to quickly fussy cut out this little turtle here. Doesn't have to be exactly precise. If you have a Carl cutter, I think that's what they're called. Maybe a silhouette, not a Carl cutter. I don't know what it is. I don't have one of those little things, but I think there's a lot of little things that if you stamp these images, you can get them. So whoever it is that has one of those things that always talks about it when I can't remember what it's called, feel free to tell people what it is. But you can stamp images and then kind of program and it'll cut the stuff out for you if you're not a fan of fussy cutting. I enjoy fussy cutting, but I'm sure one day my hands will start to disagree with me when I can't do it any longer. I'm going to cut out my sentiment. Okay. I think that's relatively straight. And then I'm just going to flag the end of this. Oops, that's a little bit of a sloppy flag, but trim this down just a smidge. Okay, so there. And then to bring this in just a little bit, I'm going to take my Pacific Point brush tip and just go around the edge here. Okay, so there's that. Can always, where is it here? If I have any left in this one, take my Wink of Stella, because Wink of Stella kind of does act like a sparkly blender pen, and you can just take your Wink of Stella over your turtle, and it'll kind of disperse that color a little bit, fill in some of the white spaces. Also, at the same time, makes him or her fabulously shiny, which is fun, if you ask me. And I'm going to just be a little anal. I'm going to trim this up just a teeny bit. Okay, so then we will add, kind of cover up our little goof ups here. And we'll just say thanks a ton. So I'm just going to add these on. I'm going to put a glue dot on the back, or on the front of him, I guess I should say. Nope, is that going to cut it off? Yeah, that's going to be a little too far. All right, we're going to have to do these separate. I'll just finish him up with some glue dots. Put him on like that. So one for the head. You could do this with any other kind of glue you want, but we'll put him here. And then I'm going to put this here. Kind of cover up our little whoopsie there because I was stamping on uneven ground. But little shaker. Certainly add a white panel in here. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to finish this up a little bit differently. Okay, so there's one. Let me just move this over. Get this out of the way. I still have 2 more glue dots on here. Let me put this so I don't lose it. Okay, so for the second one, because I didn't add anybody on the inside, how about if we stamp the whale? And we'll kind of do the whale. Let's do him in, we could do him in blue, but oh, let's do him in Misty Moonlight. That might be pretty. I haven't used this one yet either. I'm going to, just because I haven't used this stamp off once. Just to see. Oh, he's really dark. We could do 2. Let's do 2 whales. So we're going to do 1. And 2. And I probably stamped this on the wrong side, but all right, so there's 2. Probably could have taken my time there a little bit more, but grab my Wink of Stella and just kind of spread out a little bit of that color that to me is just slightly mottled. Sometimes, other thing just to keep note of, if you notice that you're still getting a lot of mottled stamping after you've taken your time and done something, this ink pad, that was the first time I've used it. Sometimes if they're a little too wet, they don't stamp quite as much of a detail to the images. So you might have to kind of either push in your ink pad with a spoon, with a plastic spoon to kind of push some of the ink down. Or what you can do is you can actually just wipe a little bit of it off. So let's see where this guy goes. I don't want to. I'm going to have to cut these because I don't want to sacrifice one for the other. Okay. So we'll pop this one in. If you ever have trouble with the spacing too, with getting your die to go in, I'll show you one other thing you can do. You can take a Post-it note and you can just kind of feed it in a little bit better that way. I should have done this from the top. So you can feed it in. That way you have a nice anchor to kind of hold it right where you want it. And then what I usually do is I'll squeeze it just a little bit to make sure it's lined up how I like. And then punch. There's one. And I should, yep, have enough sticky to be able to do this guy. So same thing again. I'm just going to slide it in from the top. And punch. Okay. Just peel off the sticky part. Okay. So we'll put our 2 whales kind of going by like that in this one. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to glue this background down. We'll glue the whales down. You could do this with anything you want. You could use liquid glue or any other type of adhesive. I can't remember what that new one's called yet, so I'm not going to. Seal Plus, Stampin' Seal, Save the Seals. I'm just kidding. I think that one's Seal, and then the really strong one is the Seal Plus. So this one kind of was a no-brainer to attach this because we knew it was going to fit in there pretty symmetrically. So this one is going to be just a teeny bit of an overlap, okay? So we're going to need to be conscious of where we put our whales. So let's take a peek. Kind of go with like that maybe. There we go. Okay, so one other thing. I'm going to put these down. You don't want to goop them up with too much glue. Only because you don't want your sequins to sit and get stuck on it. So kind of be a little bit reserving with your glue. Other thing you can do is you could take your one finger you know you're not going to touch stuff with and kind of smear it out. That way you don't have any squishy gushes. So I'm just going to sit him here for now. And how did I want this one? I think I had one behind the other. Kind of like that. And really press them and just give them a moment to dry. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, where is my buddy? I'm going to, just to make sure there's no glue, I'm going to just touch over this because you don't want your sequins sticking to the glue, okay? So same thing again. Oops, well, I have this out. Right like that. Before I do anything else, if there's anything else we want to stamp, so if we want to stamp this, maybe tone on tone, pick this up. I believe I said we did this in Calypso Coral. Let me move this over, only because I know I'm going to go off a little bit here. You could stamp this however many different ways you want. You can have it going all the way up. Remember, you don't really want to get it on your window because it will smear on there, so try to be careful of that. Okay, there's that. And move him over to the side. All right, so now I'll flip this over, and where did I put my little strip? Here we go. For this one, you could use this same one. Because this is pretty thin, I'm actually going to grab, as long as I remember where I put it, my strips, my foam strips. So the foam strips are pretty good if you have a thinner pack, but I do still tend to use 2 of them together. So I'm going to snip right there. So we'll go. All right, so I'm going to pick 2 of these off and kind of put them together. Same with this end. I have 2. And I'm going to put them together down here. Okay, then for these longer ones, oh, that almost works out perfectly. I'm going to pull these 2. Let me snip this at the end. And grab that. Kind of eyeball this. There we go. I'll add this piece back. Same with this one. Try to keep them together. It makes it a little easier. That has a tiny gap, but I think it's okay. Okay. All right, so same thing again. Just press these down so they're really, really sticky. One thing I will tell you that I notice about using those sheets versus these tend to kind of make everything bend a little bit more because they go with the paper. And the foam strips, I guess because they're more solid, or the foam sheets seem to not do that. So I kind of am almost thinking I like those better. I'm going to have to order some of those. Oops, upside down. So there is that. So we're going to do the same thing again. Where to put my sequins? Here they are. I'm just going to put sequins in this time. And these have little seashells, all kinds of little different colors in them. So they're really, really fun. So same thing again. I'm going to peel this off. And if you want to, I'm going to attempt to do this. Nope, you know what? I'm not going to because I'm going to end up goofing it. But I was going to say you could skip the liquid adhesive on this, but I like doing the added liquid adhesive only because it gives you a better ability to move it just a teeny bit if you need to tweak it. So same thing again, I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Not a lot. You can see it's really pretty thin. Okay. That's right, just like that. So I'm going to hold this kind of over because this is a pretty thin border. Make sure that looks relatively lined up, and then press. Okay, and then your shaker stuff will really shake in this one here. Okay, so this one, since you have so much going on the front and it's a really big picture window, you don't really want to cover it up. So instead, what we will do is we will take that piece that we cut out, and we are going to need one more piece that's a little bit smaller. So we can go with this one. Is pretty good size. Let me just see if this will fit on here. All right, I'm going to run this through real quick, and then we will wrap this one up as well. So I went down 2 sizes, and I'm just cutting another stitched rectangle. And here's what we'll do. Move this over. So what do we have over here still? Well, we can do this one. Kind of a big deal. That's a cute one. Need to empty off all my blocks. All right, so I'm going to put this. We'll kind of do that just like that. And while I have it out, let's just do this just for like a little bit more added extra funness to the card. I'm going to stamp kind of on the sides because you're not going to really see very much in the middle. That's pretty good. We'll leave that. And how about the jade? That's a pretty color. Haven't done that one yet. So put this up here. And I'm going to stamp this over. That way I have a little bit of room to write whatever it is I want to write. Whoever I decide to give this to. Let me scoot these couple things out. Put some liquid glue here. And that way, for this one, you've used the entire piece of the card, even the little scrappy stuff. Okay, put a little glue here. You could even glue a couple sequins here if you wanted to. You could use one of our other stamp sets that have a lot of nautical stuff in them and add some extra excitement to it if you wanted to. But let me just press this down for 1 second. I didn't want to touch that side because I thought it might still be a little bit wet. There we go. Okay, so there are 2 fun and different shaker cards, and if you wanted to, you could always add like a little something to this. I'm sure there's lots of little sentiments in here. You could even put "well done" over here just on a little something and add it. It has a lot of nice inside sentiments too. Hoping your birthday fishes come true. My love for you is bigger than the ocean. That would even be a nice little thing to put on the front there. But so many fun little sentiments to add into here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Let me move all of this stuff out of your way so you can get a good look at those cards. If you would like to buy any of these supplies and more, or lots of other stuff too, you can head to my online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. If you missed any of the beginning of this, you can absolutely go back and watch it. And if you were watching this on YouTube, would love to hear your comments as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please make sure that you leave a comment. I will draw some winners, and I'm going to draw some winners from YouTube and from Facebook. So make sure if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook that you leave a comment, and that way I can pull some names and give away some goodies. As always, I truly appreciate you guys stopping in to watch. Thank you for joining me on a day that wasn't my normal day. Yesterday, Rainbow Stamper finished up his kindergarten, so he had to go pick up all of his stuff at the time I would have gone live. So I figured it was easier, instead of trying to play catch up yesterday, to just swap to a totally different day. So thank you guys for being flexible and joining me. I hope you have enjoyed yourself today and learned something new. As always, if you have any questions, you can send me an email or a message on Facebook or to my email, which is rachthestamper@gmail.com. If you have any questions about signing up as a demonstrator, you would like to take advantage of that amazing special, you can always send me a message as well. I'd love to hear from you. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope wherever you are, there is some sunshine. I'm sure we will get some tomorrow, I think. We had plenty of it the past few days. So I think with every rain, you got to have a little, or every sunshine, you got to have a little bit of rain, right? Just to take a break and relax. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you real soon. Thanks for watching.